Tammy was a childhood friend of mine. So I've known her since she was 8. She lived across the street from me in this little town we grew up in. And we were friends. And I liked to play with Tammy a lot. And, we were good friends until we were about 12. And I'd skipped a grade. I was in her class, but I'd skipped a grade. And, girls mature faster than boys. But we were good friends. And that's been there all along. And when we're operating optimally together, we're very, very good friends. And so this is a good hint. This took me a long time to figure out because I'd studied power dynamics and totalitarianism for a long time. And I was always curious. I knew there was evil, there's tyrannical evil. And I knew the opposite of that was good because the opposite of tyrannical evil is good. But I didn't know what the opposite was. It wasn't easy to conceptualize, But the opposite of tyrannical evil is play. Okay, so this is what you're looking for in your marriage, is play. You've got your marriage structured properly if you're playing. And you could be playing almost all the time. And it's like playing when you're a kid. That will come back. Except as you become a little child, you will in no wise enter the kingdom of heaven. There's nothing metaphorical about that statement. That's what you're aiming at. You're aiming to reattain that state of grace that you occupied when you were a child and you were playing. That's what you're after in your marriage. And play also means freedom, right? Mm-hmm. For a system to have play means that it has some freedom to move, to play, right? So that's also why you want play in your relationship, because then you're not boxing each other in like tyrants. There's some play and some trust. You want to play. And so should your wife be your friend? Yeah, absolutely. Wife first, friend second, right? Because just like with children, parent first, friend second. So you have to have that in order. But if you're operating optimally in relationship to each other, then it's play. See, I had a vision of paradise at one point. There were many points in my life, but this was a particularly powerful vision. Paradise is a place where you play forever, and the game just gets better and better. You can think about that as something that's forestalled till the afterlife, let's say, or that's something metaphysical or something ideal. And it is all of those things in some ways, but it's also something that you could, in fact, have here and now. There's another line, I think it's from the Gospel of Thomas. Christ says, "The kingdom of heaven is spread upon the earth, but men do not see it." You see it when you're in love with someone, and you're there when you play, and you can try to be there all the time, and you can be there a lot. And it's a great thing to aim at. And one of the things too, this is useful, and you learn this as a therapist too, is so you might say, well, how do I learn to play with my wife? Here's how. Pretend you don't know anything about yourself or her, because you don't. Well, notice that. You're radically ignorant, and you know that because things aren't perfect for you. So if you weren't radically ignorant, things wouldn't be so awful. So you're ignorant in precise proportion to how miserable you are. That's another way of thinking about it. Okay, so you don't know anything. Now you watch your relationship, and then all of a sudden you'll think, oh, we're getting along right now, and it's fun, it's playful. Then you think, what are we doing right? What am I doing right? How did I bring this about? What are the preconditions for this? Maybe you can even ask your wife, aren't we having fun? What are we doing right? Let's see if we can do that some more. And then maybe to begin with, you're only managing that 1% of the time. Right, but then you notice and you start practicing, and then it's like 2%, and then it's 4%, and who knows how much you can make it. It's probably the case that you're there sometimes. So you got to notice, when are we smiling? When are we laughing? When can I see the young person in my partner? When can I see that emerge? So if Tammy and I are interacting together properly, I can see her at every age I've known her at the same time. What do you see when you see someone you love, when you see them with love? Yeah, well, that's right. You see, well, I think you see, it's like a revelation. It's like a revelation of paradise. Mm-hmm. That's really what it is. If you have a date that goes right, you remember that you're with the person that you love. You remember that. It's like, oh yes, I remember who you are. You're the person I fell in love with. Where did you go? Well, really, where did that go? Right? Because you had it. Can we bring it back? Well, there's something to strive for. And the answer is yes. You got to look for it. You got to practice it. You got to search for it, right? You got to make it a priority. You mentioned earlier that what should you prioritize in your life? That's what you worship, by the way, what you prioritize. That's why you shouldn't worship money. You need money, as you pointed out, but it shouldn't be your God. It's not a good God. Well, you could prioritize play. You could prioritize love.